Hello and welcome back to the Cinema Tirana YouTube channel. I am Stefano Tirana. This is the channel where we talk about issues of film and faith. Today we're looking at the 2004 classic straight from the Uncanny Valley. That is The Polar Express. We're going to be breaking down the hidden meanings and the hidden symbolism throughout this film and breaking down a little bit of the depth in this film that's surprising, being that this is a kid's film from 2004. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of stuff that might blow your mind. So let's get started. So first of all, let's talk about the idea of God. Here in the film, it is very clear that God in this universe is Santa Claus. Okay, warning, I'm going to be talking about Santa Claus in a full detail. So if there's kids out there that you don't want, you guys can deal with it. That's fine. Santa Claus is kind of a combination of a whole bunch of European traditions, a real person in the case of Saint Nicholas, some other mythological characters throughout Europe that got combined in North America during the 1800s as Europeans came in and combined traditions in the New World. It takes Saint Nicholas, a real person, and combines him with Father Christmas from the UK. Father Christmas is the embodiment of the Christmas spirit and is stylized after pagan gods. Gods like Odin, etc., etc. And Santa, being God, breaks down into a trinity as well, thanks to the beloved American actor Tom Hanks. He plays nearly every character in this film, apparently. The second person of this trinity is the train conductor. He carries out the divine will of Santa perfectly. He is the embodiment of Santa. He is the image of Santa before they get to the North Pole. And lastly, the spirit of Santa is none other than the hobo that lives on the train. Hobo is the term in the credits. I am aware the word is falling out of favor, but that is what the movie calls him, so we're gonna go with that. He is very clearly identified as a ghost, and also identifies himself as Santa Claus on top of the train. It's kind of played for laughs, but it's very clear that he is the spirit of Santa that lives on this train, getting it where it needs to go and protecting the characters when they need to be protected. So up next, let's look at the issue of divine providence in this film. Divine providence is the idea that God ordains and orchestrates the world around us to carry out his will in various ways. This is perfectly clear, perfectly expressed in the Polar Express. That was not intentional. Everything in this movie orchestrates and works together to get our main character to Santa. Everything down to this long extended segment with a ticket that flies out of the train is then brought back into the train through various animals, forest creatures, and snow, and etc., etc. It's all the divine providence of Santa Claus, or God in this case, to get the main character where they need to go and to learn the lessons that he needs to learn. Next up is the main character. The main character is completely nameless, and that's really important when films have a nameless main character. That typically means that the main character is operating as a surrogate for the audience. What that means is just that we're meant to see ourselves in the main character. We're meant to put our own feelings, impose our own wills on the actions of the main character. The main character goes through a arc of doubt into faith, and that's the next theme, is faith itself. There's a Bible verse that very, very clearly illustrates the way this film works, and that's from John 20:29. I'll put it up on the screen. The verse says, "Then Jesus told him, 'Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed.'" This is the story of Thomas after Jesus' resurrection. All the other apostles have seen the risen Christ, but Thomas has not, and he is doubting. Thomas is doubting in the resurrection until Jesus goes through a wall and then says hi to Thomas, and Thomas then believes. This entire film surrounds itself around faith and doubt regarding Santa Claus. The main character has his suspicions. In the beginning, he's looking up through scientific reason whether or not Santa Claus exists. But then, supernaturally, a train plows through his little town and his little city to take him to the North Pole. And trains are symbolic of a couple things. They're symbolic of the passage of time, of life itself, its beginning and end, to its final destination. There is a kind of final judgment scene with Santa at the end where he judges the acts of the children on the way to see him. Santa is also very much a judge. He makes a list and checks it twice. But the main character doubts the entire way until the very last second where Santa's coming out and he still cannot see the face of Santa. And even though he's experienced an entire world on this train that is divinely orchestrated by Santa, and that's very much us. We live in an orchestrated world, a world full of order and not chaos, a world where we have life itself, and we continue to doubt the existence of God and the presence of God in reality. But it isn't until our main character does a literal profession of faith, he does a quasi-sinner's prayer, and then he is able to see the face of Santa, the face of the one who has orchestrated his journey to the end. And through this gift of faith, he receives the first gift of Christmas. I told you it wasn't just a kids movie. There's a lot here. Now, it's up to us to take away what we want to take away from the story in this film. But after all that being said, again, I would like to say a very Merry Christmas. May you be granted the gift of faith in the spirit of this season. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. Think about it as a Christmas present to yourself later on when I release more videos. And as always, God bless and thanks for watching.